if I could listen to some more of that. Amen. Thank you, fellas.
You're on candid camera.
The question that each one should ask yourself today is, will the circle being broken? Well, we have come today because of a loved one who has spent many years on this earth, has touched the lives of each one of you in one way or another. And I'm so thankful that I got to know her and Baby. You all know who Baby is, don't you? Those of you that have been around the house, you know who Baby is. That bird. That squawking bird that would call her Mom. And when I first met her there in the home after she had came on the services with hospice and walked in and here's this big cage and this big bird in that cage and she loved her bird, and I believe the bird loved her too, didn't it? And I know she loved her family. I was asking Robert before the service, I said, on maybe what some of the fondest memories, maybe something that he's had, and he summed it up in the way that I had summed it up as well. And he said, well, Grandma was a storyteller. And I just started laughing as soon as he said that. And he kind of gave me this look like, what? And I said, well, that's the way that I had summed her up myself, was the fact that she was a storyteller. That the first time, normally on a chaplain's visit, about 20 to 45 minutes would be about my visit. Not when I'd go to see. Now we call her Anna. Somehow it got mixed up, but I will try to refrain from calling her Anna and calling her Jane. And I guess that's in the paperwork, wasn't it? And so that's where that was picked up. But anyway, my visits lasted anywhere from 2 to 2.5 hours. I would tell her, I've got to get out of here. They're going to be calling, wanting to know, is your car broke down? Why are you staying in Martinsville so long? But always had wonderful visits when we would go and visit with her in her home. And it never failed that during those visits that there would be a time where our laughter and that it would turn to a time of talking about Christ and what Jesus has meant to her, and we'll talk about the years that she spent as a Sunday school teacher there at the old Willow Grove Church, and the times that you as family members, many of you I'm sure was in there with her, and those memories are precious memories for you. I thought today, as I was watching some of the pictures and some of them, as they would tell me who they are, I would take a double take and say, no, that's not Debbie, and no, that's not you, but hold on to those memories. Those are precious times. And remember that she had a faith and a trust in God that she had told me time and time again. I don't know why I'm hanging on, but evidently God still has something special for me somewhere. And so the bird just showed up. See, even today the bird still takes priority. She was proud of the bird. I'm trying to figure out what they're pointing at, the bird. But anyway, today we have come, and Debbie and Kathy and Bob, just trusting that God will be with you all and the rest of the family. she loved you all. I remember one visit I had there. She had out her little small box of pictures. She never had very many pictures, did she? She had boxes upon boxes of pictures, and she was going through those, and she was saying, we're writing down on the back who's who, and I was like, man, you got your hands full. And but she loved her family, and hold on to those, will you? That God will just He will give you the strength that you need through that time. One night a man had a dream. He dreamed he was walking along the beach with the Lord, and across the sky flashed scenes from his life. For each scene he noticed 2 sets of footprints in the sand. One belonged to him and the other to the Lord. When the last scene of his life flashed before him, he looked back at the footprints in the sand. He noticed that many times along the path of his life there was only 1 set of footprints. He also noticed that it happened at the very lowest and saddest times in his life. This really bothered him, and he questioned the Lord about it. He said, Lord, you said that once I decided to follow you, you'd walk with me all the way. But I've noticed that during the most troublesome times in my life, there's only 1 set of footprints. The man said, I don't understand why when I needed you the most, you would leave me. The Lord replied, my precious child, I love you and would never leave you during your times of trial and suffering. When you see only the 1 set of footprints, it was then that I carried you. You know, and it was ironic. I had no idea that was going to be on the folders that they had handed out, but I'd had that to read today. But I thought, especially within the last year or so, probably even been longer than that, since she had been sick, the times that God would carry her when it would get rough on her. And so she'd have some tough times that she was going through. But she always enjoyed spending time together in prayer and sharing scripture together. I want to read to you today out of the book of Ecclesiastes in chapter 7. And just a couple thoughts that I want to give to you. As a pastor, one of the hard things to do is to come in and during a time of grief and a time of bereavement, trying to uplift and encourage you as a family. And with her, I don't know, there was just something there that seemed to be a bond or a relationship that began to build between the 2 of us, and so as pastor, thanks for allowing me to be a part of this time with you. It is not a time of farewell. It's not a time of goodbye. It's it's basically so long because we have a chance because of the testimony that she had of being able to see her again. And Ecclesiastes, the writer says in chapter 7 and verse 2, it is better to go to the house of mourning than to go to the house of feasting. For that is the end of all men, and the living will lay it to his heart. Most of the time, we do not think of death until sickness hits or until we gather together at a time or a moment like this. And then we are reminded of death. And today I just want to, for just a few moments, to look at this subject. We are reminded. When death strikes us, we are reminded of several different things. The first one is we are reminded of the uncertainty and the brevity of death. You see, life is short. There is no guarantee of tomorrow. We have seen young ones and little ones who we have had to stand here at their casket and say goodbye to them. It is pictured as a vapor there in James chapter 4 and verse 14 that tells us that life is just a vapor. It's here today and gone.